Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to Kai Kai's dinner. And tonight we have a full house, and thanks to the chef here, my buddy, Pushkar from Stage and Ella. We're very happy to have you back. And thank you for taking the time on a busy schedule. You've been to all his restaurants, so how busy that man could be. So he's running like on skates, to get the job done. So I'm happy you came tonight. And thank you, Chris. Chris is the chef de cuisine at Stage, and Varun is at the sous chef at Ella. So he's got the whole team going. So enjoy yourself tonight, and you will have time to ask questions. And go ahead and just be quiet.
Yeah. Well, welcome everybody. What a honor to have this class at Kai Kai Farms, which is not only my favorite farm, and looks like it for those who've been supporting Diane all this time and the Kai Kai Farm. So we are all big fan of you, Diane, here. So thank you for hosting us. And then, as she said, busy restaurant, this and that, and all is possible because of you folks here. So thank you to you. Without my great customers and friends customers became friends, this is something we couldn't be doing. And then most importantly, my friends and colleagues who were my colleagues before and now they're friends and family. Varun just started with us, but if you've known me in Palm Beach County, you've known Chris because he's around. We are around each other for 6-7 years now. We worked in meat market together, and now he's literally, without him, we won't be able to do what we do every day. So that's it's just like a farm. It's a big collective effort. Not just I'm not the only one. If you're thinking I cook everything, you're wrong. It's all of us put an effort into it. But today I'm taking care of this cooking class with two amazing friends of mine. So let's get started. We have, as you can see, there's a bounty full of vegetables in front of us, and what we wanted to do tonight is really focus on what's grown on this farm. Other than the rice, potatoes in a recipe, or oil, everything is from the farm. I tried my best to focus on what's grown here, so you can come on the market here, grab the vegetables, and grab all the amazing things Kai Kai Farms is growing for you, and try to replicate the recipe. And if the recipes don't work for you, please don't hit me. Don't worry, they all will work for you, because we tried our best to get closer, because all the recipes are, some of them we use in our restaurants, either Stage or Ela, and some of it we kind of altered it where you could use all these vegetables. For an instance, I'm going to get started with the sambar recipe, and it's for those who've been to Ela, we serve that on a side of dosa, which necessarily could be soup on its own, and that's what we're doing. It's for most of us, like I call myself Floridian, and it's cold for me, and so we're going to start off with lentil soup, which is sambar. My mom or my friends back home would die like laughing, saying, "What soup? What are you calling sambar a soup? Sambar is sambar, not a soup." But for you folks, I make it easy. Let's call it a soup. So it's two kind of lentils, and so the way we are going to do it is, since I trust Chris so much, I'm going to be talking about the recipe, and you guys have such a great technology that you guys be seeing Chris making. I don't know where the screen is, right there. And the camera is going to keep moving back and forth, and Chris is going to demo what we're doing. So the recipe for sambar, if you look at it, it's literally about lentils, and I bought the lentils too, if you ever want to get it. It's two different lentils. One is called chana dal, which is necessarily pigeon peas, skinned and split. And then you have a tur dal, which is yellow Indian lentils. It's a mix of both. This lentils, when you cook it for a long period of time, becomes really creamy, and hence a lot of the dishes, all the dishes other than the steak are either vegetarian or vegan. So this soup and the fritter you're going to have as a next course are both vegan dishes. You can add, we can top it off with a ghee or a little sour cream, make it more American friendly, do whatever you want to do. But this one does not need sour cream or anything. So these are two kind of lentils. You want to start off with getting tur dal, which is yellow tur dal, and a chana dal, which is a pigeon pea split in the pot. And I'm going to cut a carrot. So what all you have to do, and with the nice carrots like from Kai Kai Farms, if you really wash them, take all the dirt off, don't worry about peeling it. Like all the nutrients are right on that skin. Get all the dirt off. Trust me, there's nothing worse than the chemicals on the carrot. So whether you peel it or not, but if you have a carrot like one from Kai Kai Farm here, you don't have to peel it. I don't like to peel it because you taste a lot of that earth. And when you're growing stuff in the ground like here, that hydroponic stuff is great. But when you really put stuff in the ground and you know where you're coming out of the soil and the carrot out of dirt, there's nothing better than when you pull the carrot out of the ground. So I'm just gonna like literally cut it in half and then just kind of go ahead and slice all the carrot and then literally put the lentils and the carrot and the turmeric. A lot of our recipes at Ela or like in India or especially in Indian cuisine, we use a lot of fresh turmeric and the turmeric powder. Well, the importance of it is one is antiseptic and also anti-inflammatory. So a lot of the cooking from India is already it's kind of helping you heal. And healing foods is one of the important things. Like we all know, a lot of my friends, a lot of my family, people I know, we all have someone who's suffering with something, and eating right food, healing, at least we can try. I'm still learning, and I think these are some of the important things we need to focus on, what we eat and not just eat what like we know about. So turmeric is really one of my favorite ingredients. So what we are really going to do is going to take the carrots, the lentils, water, and you don't want to put too much salt when you're cooking because salt reduces the boiling point, and the lentils, hence any beans, when you're cooking any sort of beans, especially the beans which take long time to cook, like chickpeas, or even these, like chana dal cooks really quick, but tur dal takes a little bit of a minute. If you have a pressure cooker, different story, but if you're cooking in a pot, wait until the lentils are cooked to put the salt in it. So what I like to do, I like to take the chana dal and tur dal, the quantities, I think it's 2 cups of tur dal, half cup of chana dal together. You put the sliced carrots, turmeric, and water, and just kind of set it and forget it. If you don't want to cook it in a stove and you want to run a bunch of errands and cook it, the great way of cooking lentils is turn your oven on from 300 to 350, put it in whatever baking pan or like a half, like we call it hotel pans, or a cooking pan or a pot, braising pot. Put it in there, cover it with 3 times the amount of water, cover it with foil, parchment paper, and kind of put it in the oven for 2 to 3 hours, and beautiful results. You don't have to worry about, you have to make sure it's covered tightly, and if you have a pressure cooker, you can use a pressure cooker to cook the lentils. And then the next part of the recipe is really, really important. It's called vagar, or tadka, or fordni, where I come from. It's like tempering all the spices. You start with the oil and black mustard seeds and cumin seeds. So India is predominantly north, and like any country, south, north, east, west. A lot of the south part of India, where Varun is from, like I'm from west of India, literally south of our state. His state is the first southern state, Andhra Pradesh, to all the way to the south of India, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu, which is like has the most southern points in India. You use a lot of mustard seeds and curry leaves. And sambar comes from the southern India, and you use a lot of curry leaves, which curry leaves look like this. One of my favorite ingredient. We get a lot of our curry leaves from Naga Farms in Loxahatchee. He has pretty much half acre. They're pretty invasive, so you have one plant, before you know, there's millions of them. It's like us in India. So it's literally, and so you start off with oil, and then mustard seeds, curry leaves. These guys have been cooking Vagar for a long period of time. So as you can see, Chris has the oil going, and then he's going to start with the mustard seeds and curry leaves. So it's really important. Your oil has to be hot enough, but not too hot. And you put the mustard seeds first, fenugreek seeds, and you stop cooking by adding onions. Because as soon as you start smelling like popcorn, that's when you add onion. Onion has a moisture, and it stops from burning those spices. So you start with oil, mustard seeds, fenugreek seeds, curry leaves, cinnamon, and the hot oil draws all the properties from the spices out. It's like a really important part of the cooking. And I'm going to show you how I cut the onion. So whenever you're cutting the onion, you don't want to take all that eye of an onion, which has the root connected. You kind of want to leave it together. And then I cut it in half. Cut the bottom piece off. And one more important part of cutting the onion, you take all that. I like to take that one layer and the skin off and kind of go around here. If you're dicing the onion, I kind of like to cut them horizontally first, and then and you always want to make sure your kind of nails and your fingertips are protecting you from cutting yourself. So, or you can get a dicer if you don't like using knife.
Check,
but
one, two. Check, one, two.
Having
Check.
sharper knife is the most important thing. And at the end,
Check,
I
check.
like to just keep the eye of an onion separate.
Check,
and I
check.
like to use all the trims here for stock, roasting vegetable, to do whatever you want to do. And having handy cups and pint containers is always helpful. And then the sambar, using different vegetables, is pretty versatile. You can use all kind of different vegetables. Nightshades work really well, like tomato or peppers, eggplant. But I like to use, so in this specific case here, I chose this recipe because one, the temperature is kind of cool, and I wanted to showcase as much as vegetables I could. And sambar was the perfect thing for it. So I decided to use K Bravo daikon radish, really good for you. A lot of different colors too. And then I got some tomatoes, cubanello peppers, some fresh carrots from here. I don't know what this green pepper is. Got to learn about this. What's this, Diane? No detour? Oh, lovely. Okay. And then we have eggplants in it, carrots, and then one of my other favorite ingredients, radish, ginger. So Chris is going to need a ginger soon. And the great way of peeling ginger too is not by the peeler. I like to peel the ginger with the back of the spoon, which kind of helps you not waste a lot of those ginger itself. So I like to take back of the spoon. I kind of go around, and as you can see, you don't even need a sharp peeler to peel the ginger. And then you save all the ginger skin and make chai or make ginger syrup. There's a lot of properties. Like for instance, the Go Man Go cocktail, if you ever had it at Saj, has all the ginger peel infused into the cocktail itself. So we believe in not wasting anything, and then we literally wash the ginger and then peel the ginger, and then again, like if you want to use a food processor or mince, like something to mince your ginger, go ahead and use it. Or you can literally slice the ginger first in like slices like this, and kind of stack them together, and then cut them into juliennes, and then cut them into small fine brunoise. Next thing you do is we're gonna take, since I said I wanted to use Kohlrabi, another one of my favorite ingredient, radishes, tomatoes, So I'm gonna literally go ahead and start like cutting different vegetables. And you just don't wanna cut them into too big, but like not also too thin, because you still want that hardiness from the vegetables, and not cut them too small. So like just enough where they have a good bite and not mushy. So we're gonna do K Bravo radish and the tomato. With the tomato too, whenever you're using tomato, don't cut the whole part out. What I like to do is they sell tomato quarters, or I like to use the tip of my knife and kind of go ahead and just get the eye of a tomato out instead of cutting that. Everybody, all of us, like are culprits of just cutting this top part and throwing it away. But don't waste that. Over the year, it's like $100, you know. So save that. And then here you go. I'm gonna just dice this tomatoes. Don't have to worry about dicing them too fine. We're gonna dice this tomato right here, and they are also gonna help build that flavor and fun in the sambar. I'm sure Chris, he wants the tomatoes for the. All right, here we go. Here's some tomatoes for Chef Chris right here, and then I'm gonna pass on. Once you start cooking the tomatoes in there, he's gonna put all the spices like sambar powder, turmeric, and some brown sugar, and he's gonna cook it all of that, and then we're gonna put some vegetables in it. And while that's happening, your lentils are cooking, and we're just gonna put those cooked lentils over these vegetables and kind of stew them for 30 to 40 minutes, and then finish it with some jaggery, if you have a jaggery, which is unfiltered sugar, or brown sugar, or dark brown sugar, or light brown sugar, whatever you have on hand, but just not refined sugar, because it's one, it's too sweet and it's not really good for you. And then at the end, we're gonna season it with lots of lemon juice and some cilantro. So like we cut some radishes, kohlrabi. Have you guys ever used kohlrabi? Yeah, I think it's same as turnips or radishes, except it doesn't have same sharpness to it. I like to braise it, or even you saute it. You can make a raita with it, or even like a dip, where you kind of cut it nice and small, saute it with olive oil and garlic, and fold it with some yogurt, sour cream, some cilantro, and you can eat it with chips as well. I love using kohlrabi, and it's really good for you. And with the greens of kohlrabi, if you ever get kohlrabi with the greens, they also saute really well. Great with your steak, chicken, grilled chicken, or even you can put it in a sambar. So here I'm gonna do the same. Cut them into discs and cut them into big dices. I do love using eggplant in this recipe as well. And as you know, Kai Farms, they grow a lot of different kind of eggplants, Italian, Japanese eggplant, fairy tale eggplant. So I'm just using the Japanese kind and Italian eggplant right now. Just same thing with eggplant. Eggplant shrinks as you cook. So you don't want to cut them into too small pieces. So like I just like to cut them into obliques, or you can just go straight big dice. So while we are finishing this, if Varun, you want to start serving the sambar, would be great. So what I did in this, since I was cooking for not that large number, but a lot of you guys at once, you could do that if you're adventurous enough to cook for 60 people and serve sambar. This is what you got to do. Cook the recipe and take some of the vegetables and keep them separate. Saute them separate. Use a sambar spice. So there's a spice in that I kind of want to put an emphasis on. It's called sambar powder. So you can either buy it store-bought, like from the store, from Indian store. It's different brands are available. But what's in a sambar powder? It's really important. There's toasted chana dal, so same lentils you have, they act differently and act when you roast them, dry roast them, and then powder it with the spices. They kind of help carry all those spices, the properties of spices, and help them mix with the soup or ingredients you're using. They almost act like a vessel for the spices to deliver all those flavors, and also give a little body to the sambar, the creaminess, because the lentils itself add a lot of creaminess, and you powder it. So what we do in the sambar powder, more importantly, the ingredients of the sambar powder is urad dal, which is ivory white lentils, and then you have chana dal, curry leaves, coriander powder, coriander seeds, black peppercorns, fenugreek seeds are one of the most important part, because they add because we have a different taste notes, right? The bitterness, bitter flavor is one of the most important flavors to kind of carry or bring that balance. That's why, hence, we like bitter lettuces or kale or chicory. It's like, I love bitter flavor. That's why radishes, they have a little bitterness at the end, and the fenugreek does that very, very nicely. And hence, and the balance is everything. The sambar has a little bitterness, has a little sweetness, a little spicy, and then there's a lot of acidity in it by lemon juice. Some folks will add tamarind. I like to use fresh lemon juice because it adds a lot more freshness. But there are people down south who would use, south of India, not here. You'd use a lot of tamarind as well. And the curry leaves adds a lot of that aromatic flavor. So you can make your own sambar powder. I put in our recipe, we put a store-bought because you can buy it. Another thing, a quick tip about storing spices, if you're not using some of the spice powders on daily basis, having it in a vacuum, like a cryovac bag, or if you have a cryovac seal at home or not, just having it in a freezer prolongs the freshness of it. Because spices have a lot of natural oils, and just like any other oil, if you leave the oil on room temperature too long, they start deteriorating and you don't get the best flavor out of it. I'm going to check on Varun if he's putting enough soup for you guys. You got to make sure you're getting, yeah, there you go, Varun, because Varun wants to save that for tomorrow's service. He's like, let me just save some for you guys. I'm just kidding. So then you finish it with some fresh lemon juice. Go ahead, you can use, if you like basil, if you like any parsley, any herbs would do just fine, but I like to use cilantro myself. We use a lot of cilantro. It's a classical thing to be put on the soup. Here we use cilantro and some fresh scallions or green onions, as you would say, from Kai Kai. Look, this is how scallions should look like. Look at this pretty green onion. Perfect looking vegetable we look for in a grocery store is not always working in our favor. That's hence, like, when the vegetables or things are looking different, it's just like all of us. We look all different. We act all different. Nothing should be uniform. Nothing should be too big. Yes? Dhana means coriander, and jeera means cumin, so that's the powder of both of them together. So it's a coriander and cumin powder. The ratio we use is 2 parts of coriander, 1 part of cumin seeds, but you can, if you like cumin more, you can add more cumin seed. Cumin is a little bit more potent, and it goes a long way, and coriander is more floral and is not up in your face right away. So that hence the powder ratio is 2:1. That's what we used it in the spices. And the reason we put the spices first in the recipe to kind of cook with the onions and everything to create that fond. And when you add the tomatoes, tomatoes have a lot of acidity, and acidity helps deglazing, just like in Western cooking when you put wine in something to deglaze. Anything which is on the bottom of the pot kind of deglazes with the tomato. So it's really important because we don't use a lot of wine in Indian cooking, but you have a lot of tomatoes or a lot of different souring agents which kind of help get that fond from the bottom of the pot out, and that's all the flavor. You don't want to waste that. So what do you guys think here for those who are having it? There's a lot of fresh vegetables in it. Yeah, yeah, lovely. Thank you. There's, oh, I can tell you recipe. I can share recipe right now. So we make a chai spice in-house in Ela, and so the blend we use is cinnamon, black pepper, cardamom, cloves, some ginger powder, fresh ginger, and black tea. Yes. Whenever you're buying spices, unless you are cooking like us every day, buy smaller amount of spices. Don't buy that big Costco like fennel seeds, because I guarantee you, you'll get a grandkids before you use all those fennel seeds. But I'm serious. I've seen it. So buy smaller amount of spices. That's what we're gonna do at Ela Market. We don't have a name for the market yet, so if you have someone creative mind here, have a name for it, maybe we'll buy a dinner for you guys at Ela. We are still looking for a name. It's still haven't gotten inspiration yet, but the market is gonna be at where old Ela location used to be. Yeah. And we're gonna do soup, salad, sandwiches, and also some pantry items like spices and astages, pate, chai, and chai spice. Yeah. Where that's a very good question. We buy it in bulk. I would love to make it, but I would not be able to keep up with making paneer for that cauliflower and paneer we sell at Ela. But good quality paneer is still not available around. Maybe I'll try to sell it in Ela. But to make a paneer is super simple. It's like making ricotta salata, except you don't season the milk solid as much. So if you make ricotta, it's literally making ricotta, and then you press it and you strain it. Like ricotta, at some point you stop straining it. Here you put it on a cheesecloth and you put a weight on it, and you take all the way out, and that big block of milk solid, what you have left with the cheese is a paneer. Yeah. So it's and ricotta salata, once that paneer or that break is done, you put it in a brine, and then hence the ricotta salata is really salty, and you can shave it, and the salt draws more moisture out of it. That's the difference between paneer and ricotta salata. But it's similar to make ricotta and press it, leave it, and you can make your own paneer. Yeah. So idea with the sambar, again, to showcase as much as vegetables you could. I could use in this. And another thing I also use, I didn't talk about, is Romano beans. Diane grows 3-4 different kind of beans through the season, and this is one of my favorite hardier beans, because you can literally cook this in a stew or soup, and it'll still hold this shape, texture, just because how hardy it is. And it also grows really, really well if you just put salt, pepper, olive oil, put it on your wood fire grill or grill itself. It picks up a lot of flavor, and grilled beans are another. That's the beans I cooked for Thanksgiving instead of regular beans. Yeah, I cooked it on the grill and put some bacon on top of it. It was amazing. Yeah. So next, as some of you are still waiting for the soup, we are gonna clean up here, and we're gonna start with the next recipe, which is gonna be a pakora. Unless you have any questions about this soup or sambar.
Cooking in the kitchen, rocking on the phone at Kai's Music Garden.
Get you going. So next is we're gonna do pakora, which is Indian fritter or like a fried like vegetable fritter. And another reason I tried doing this is you could make fritters a lot of different ways. We all try a lot of fried things, chicken wings, this and that, but a lot of times you don't see fritters which are made focusing vegetables. And Diane is growing this amazing collard greens right now, which everyone likes braised collard greens. I love them too, a lot of different ways. But I was just trying something. I put it in a fryer and it turned out really crispy. And I'm like, I think this will be a great thing to do a pakora with it. Pakora is, there's a lot of different variations of pakora from north to south of India. Mostly northern Indians make pakoras or, or bhajiyas. There's different variations of it. What I wanted to showcase is this collard greens and the kale kai kai is growing right now. So we'll start off with the most basic thing. You look at the amazing collard green. It's really pretty. I like to just use my hands and kind of pick the collard and get that stem out because it's a little hardy to cook. And there's a little surprise element I'm going to tell you now. We put Chris on the mic too, so I already apologize if he says some random things, but he's on the mic right now.
Yeah.
So
hello. Test.
now he has all that tool
work.
to talk back
work.
to me right now. But right now we kept it off, so if he can.
They cut me off. They don't. Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Oh, right.
There you
Perfect.
go. Chef
Yeah, I
Chris.
apologize for any crude language. I apologize.
So then after you take the stem off, you kind of stack them together, like almost like this, and then cut them into nice squares, which you will see why I'm talking about that. Like almost like this, and then same thing with the kale. You take the stem out and do the same thing with the kale. And here, like as in the recipe you'll see, I've used calabasa. You can use butternut squash. You could use, there's a potato in the recipe for more crunchiness. But the most important part is this and the chickpea flour and the seasoning you're gonna use. And again, the recipe is pretty versatile, very user, like you can substitute any different ingredients. For instance, if you don't have collards, you can use just kale. Just double up the amount of kale in the recipe. Potatoes, you can use butternut squash or calabasa, which is like, or pumpkin. I stay away from the regular pumpkin because it has a lot of water content, and it will like make the whole pakora batter or the whole vegetable mix really waterlogged. So I do love using collard in this recipe. You could use carrots as well if you like. What we used in this, it was lots of this kale, collards, and instead of using red onion, which I mentioned in the recipe, but right now Diane sent me this lot of scallions. As you can see, I have a lot of them, and up here as well. So I took a lot of these scallions, took the white part, cut those white part more thinly sliced, because it's has a lot of flavor, and then the green part, I kind of cut them in like 2 to 3 inches long pieces, like that, right here. And for vegetables, the most underappreciated tool is the box grater. One of my favorite tools to have it at home. You can shave anything, carrots, potatoes, carrots, radishes. So like right now I'm gonna do some carrots as well. Just grate the carrots. You can grate the ginger as well in it if you like big pieces of ginger. Put carrot on it. Then some curry leaves, chopped up curry leaves, another one of my favorite ingredients. Just adds a lot of aromatic and also adds a lot of flavor as well. Then I want to talk about the garlic a little bit. I can go on and on about not buying peeled garlic. In both our restaurants, as busy as we are, I can back there. Those guys, they always. Chris got on board with me. Varun is kind of on the fence. He's like, why don't you buy peeled garlic? But this is the garlic we use. You don't want to buy peeled garlic. One, you don't know who's peeling it. I don't want to get into too details. We have a beautiful evening. I don't want to ruin it to tell you where that garlic comes from. But you know this garlic comes from the farm. It's not peeled. Some great tips to peel your own garlic. Right with the eye of the garlic where it was attached to the root, you literally cut like a ½ inch to inch out. Save the bottom piece of the garlic disc for the stalks and whatnot, and then soak all of this in hot water overnight, or put it in a container to take all the peels off. And before you know, all the peel, it's a lot easier to peel garlic when it's soaked, and believe it or not, it also gets it easier. You don't make a lot of mess when you're peeling garlic because everything is wet, stays, doesn't fly all around. And I mean, we go through, what, 50 pounds of garlic a week.
Probably more.
More.
Probably 90
50
pounds.
Yeah, we peel garlic. There's 2 guys peeling garlic all day long.
Every day.
Every day.
I'll say, when I first started working with him, I was the kind of guy that was like, I don't understand. We can buy this done already. I can save hours of labor, and it's just as good. I don't even buy peeled garlic at my house anymore because I literally see the flavor, and you'll smell the flavor, and you'll see how long it lasts versus the stuff that's already peeled. You don't know how old it is. You don't know how long it's been in the public supermarket. Tell me how many times, next time you buy peeled garlic, look at that bag and tell me if you see mold on it. I see mold on it. And then you're picking out the moldy piece, you're like, oh, I'll go around it. No, that's not cool. You buy this, it's always fresh, it's always nice, and it takes literally 5 to 10 minutes to just peel your own garlic yourself. I make my fiance do it.
Yeah, there you go.
Can I help you, baby? Yeah, you can peel some garlic.
Yeah, good one. So, fresh garlic is really important. You can taste it. It does make a difference. We make garlic ghee, we make garlic butter, and when you have already peeled garlic, we ground it and you cook it with it. You know, when a lot of us, we go to a lot of seafood restaurants everywhere, a lot of garlic being served with the clams or mussels. Sometimes it does give you, like you feel, you love when you're eating it, and afterwards you don't really always feel the best about it. It's because that usage of pre-peeled garlic. And try peeling your own garlic. Use the same amount of garlic, and you're gonna love garlic even more. One of my favorite ingredients. And then another thing, to chop the garlic, you don't want to use. You're only cutting 2 pieces of garlic. I always smash it with the back of my knife, with like that. As you're gonna salt this, anyways, put a little bit of salt on it. It creates a friction, and you're gonna have a minced garlic with no time. Because what it does, it helps. It's like a sand, and then salt, as you're chopping it, becomes a part of the paste. It's like a quick little trip, and before you know, I have a really nice minced garlic. Absolutely, yeah, you can. And another good thing is not too long. Chopped garlic will only stay 2 to 3 days before it starts oxidizing. But what you could do is you could cut a lot of this garlic, peel it, or even what we do for our garlic ghee, we kind of learn ourselves. As you see, it's whole. You literally cut the top of it like that, right here, and then you just take this piece, put it the cut side facing down, and put olive oil, cover with olive oil, butter, and put it in the oven, roast it at 250 to 300 degrees for 3 to 4 hours. You have a garlic confit, leave it to rest when you can touch it. Literally, you can pick the whole skin off, and the garlic will stay in the oil. Leave it whole as is in your oil, or blend it in the blender, keep that paste, and now you have that garlic confit paste, and that will stay in your refrigerator for 6 to 12 months, no problem. And then you can put that on your bread, on a sourdough bread. I love bread from Aioli Bakery, Johnny's Bakery, like amazing bakers around here. Spread that garlic, olive oil, ghee, butter, whatever you like. Use any sort of fat you like. spread it on your bread, you have it on your hand. And in this case, we are using fresh garlic. I'm going to put it right on top of all this mix here. And looks like Varun stole my bowl here. All right, it's all right. Oh, come on. Yes, I do need, but good thing is it's pakora in it. So we're going to put all of that in this bowl right here. And just like seasoning anything, a lot of these greens have a lot of moisture content. So I put garlic in there. I'm also going to put some ginger. Where did my ginger go? It's right here. Yeah. Same thing with the ginger. I'm going to slice some ginger here. And usually we use serrano peppers or Thai chilies to spice this pakora up a little bit. But this time around, since Diane had a lot of this fresh Fresno peppers growing on the farm, I decided to use fresh Fresno peppers right here. Literally, don't even worry about anything. Just slice them into roundels. Whenever you are hearing this sound, that means the knife's not very sharp. You don't want that. It should just go. And the pepper is like not the easiest thing to cut. So I just changed where I was cutting it from. Because the knife has, like literally, the anatomy of knife is the front to back all acts differently because your hand has a pressure at different points. The front doesn't have as much pressure. So I just started cutting it from the back of it because it wasn't as dull at the back of it. So you just put those peppers in here. Then the key is to salt your vegetables first. Kind of mix them. Because salt, what it does is it draws moisture from anything which has water content, whether it's chicken, fish, or not, talking about fish. If you ever want a nice pan-seared fish with a crispy skin, go ahead and season your fish a little ahead of time, draw that moisture of the skin, pat it dry, and then sear your fish skin side down. You'll get the most crispy skin you're going to find on a fish. So here I'm mixing all together. As you can see, the moisture starts building up. And then I'm going to add some Kashmiri chili. A little turmeric. And a little bit of dhana jeera. And garam masala. And you mix it again. As you can see, you can even mix this, leave it for a little bit over the counter for 30 to 40 minutes. You'll see more moisture come out. And the great thing about this recipe is it's vegan, gluten-free, because the flours we're using is chickpea flour and the rice flour. Chickpea flour is necessarily, it's a lentil flour and it's all protein, so that's what gives you that nice crispy bite. And a rice flour draws more of that moisture and adds even more crunchiness to the recipe. That's how we do our fried chicken at Staj. It's drenched in chickpea flour and a rice flour mix. So next time you want to do a fried chicken at home, you have a gluten-free guest coming over, just use, we like to do 3 parts of chickpea flour and 1 part of rice flour mixed, and then you can add any seasoning you want, garlic powder, onion powder, thyme. The possibilities are endless. Cayenne pepper. As you can see, it's like got a lot of moisture out. Then I'm going to put a chickpea flour in there. Can you pass me the chickpea flour, please? There's a mix of chickpea and rice flour right here. You mix it, and I always like to add a little bit of water too if it gets too dry. And once you let it sit, you can always add. So in the recipe, the recipe I wrote for this is it's done on a smaller batch multiple times. You can literally put everything together, add a touch of water if you have to create that little bit of a fritter or like a batteriness, and then it should look like this. And once it's all done, let me show them this right here. If you can see, how's it coming out? It looks like you can add a little more water, and it should look like this, like nice and wet, and has kale, collard. Again, you can add potatoes, sweet potatoes, anything which is starchy. You can add it without like even thinking about it. Yuca, cassava, they call it in Ireland. You can put that in there, even more crunchiness, and you have amazing vegetable fritter. And you can serve it with ketchup if you like. Everybody likes ketchup. But I don't really like as much ketchup. I like tamarind chutney. So you have a tamarind chutney, I put it on for you guys here, or tomato chutney. Again, you can make tamarind chutney. We're going to sell tamarind chutney at the Ela market. Tamarind chutney, I didn't share the recipe, but if you would like one, I can always tell you. It's tamarind, brown sugar, a little bit of vinegar, some cayenne chili powder, some salt. You can put some coriander seeds in it, cumin powder. Cook it all together to like a syrupy consistency, cool it down, and blend it. I also like to add fresh dates to my tamarind chutney. You can buy a lot of dates in bulk in Costco. Sometimes you'll see it. And yes, ma'am. Mejdul. Mejdul dates are easy, seeded. If you want to be a little bit more, put some work for yourself, you can get not seeded dates and go through it. Or like we just had our vendors send us not seeded dates. Chutney was being made, and I already knew, because my first thing I do is I'm very nosy. I check everything in a walk-in, and I knew the dates have seed in it. I just wanted to see what these guys do about it. And as they're making chutney, I'm like, you guys, you know that has seeds in it, right? It's like, oh, you never get it with seeds. I'm like, yeah, but did anyone check it? That's why you have to snack on things. So my snacking came out. Somehow it made a usefulness for us. So like I knew someday I'm gonna have a use for it. My wife doesn't agree, but I do. And we found there were seeds in it. So make sure you snack a lot in cooler. So if your husband is snacking at night, leave him alone. He's trying to figure things out. All right? That's the biggest thing you learn from this class. Stop pestering your husbands. The next thing is we're going to plate these pakoras. Varun is hard at it right now, and Chef Chris is going to go try out his grill skills back there. You're going to see on the camera. We're going to wood fire the hanger steak, tandoori hanger steak with some tomato salad. Again, there's so many great tomatoes you have. It would have been, and I had to give some sort of American pleasure to you guys. Blue cheese and tomato salad. So I had to, and with a little bit of black garlic ranch. So we can't go all Indian. We had to do something. You know, I'm a proud American now, so I had to kind of go back to my branches, not my roots. All right.
Kai's Music Garden.
Next, as I said, we're gonna go with the steak.